Hello everyone, welcome back to the e-lecture series of community medicine. Today I'll be continuing with the medical entomology. In this lecture we'll see learning objectives are at the end of this lecture you should be able to know the life history, habits, diseases transmitted and control measures of housefly. Then you should know habits, diseases transmitted and control measures of sandfly, rat flea, louse, hardtick and softtick, each mite, cyclops and hookworm. And again you would be able to identify the arthropods with reason. Okay. In this lecture, we'll see the arthropods of medical importance other than mosquitoes. That is, we are going to study flies, in that housefly, sandfly, sassafly and blackfly, then human lice, fleas, redovid bug, ticks, mites and cyclops. Okay. In previous lecture, we have seen the classification of arthropods. There are three classes: class Insecta, Arachnida and class Crustacea. And we have seen the arthropod borne diseases along with the arthropods responsible for their transmission. Okay. In medical entomology part 1, we have covered mosquitoes. Now in this lecture, we'll cover remaining arthropods. So let's start with the housefly. All of us have seen this arthropod, that is housefly. This belongs to the class Insecta. In India, the most important of the flies are Musca domestica, Musca vicinia, Musca nebulo and Musca sorbens. Starting with the life cycle of housefly, the housefly undergoes a complete metamorphosis with 4 stages in its life cycle, that is egg, larva, pupa and adult. You can see in this picture the adult fly lays eggs. The eggs are converted to larva, which has 3 stages: first stage larva, second stage larva and third stage larva. This larva is converted to pupa and from pupa the adult fly emerges. So under favorable conditions of temperature and food supply, the whole life cycle from egg to adult, it is completed in less than a week, and the adult lifespan is 2 to 3 weeks, or it may extend up to 3 months in cooler conditions. Okay. Now we'll see the life history of housefly. First stage is egg. The female housefly lays eggs about 120 to 150 eggs at one sitting. And the housefly lays eggs usually in moist, decaying organic matter such as human and animal excreta, garbage and vegetable refuse. These are usually pearly white in color and about 1 millimeter in length. You can say these look just like rice grain, and these eggs hatch in 8 to 24 hours. The next stage is larva, also called as maggot. It measures about 1 to 2 millimeter in length at birth. These are white in color, segmented and footless with narrow anterior end. You can see in this picture narrow anterior end and broad posterior end. They eat voraciously and molt twice in the course of the development. In the full grown larva, it may measure up to 12 millimeter in length. And this larval stage lasts for 2 to 7 days. Next is pupa stage, which is dark brown and barrel shaped, and it measures up to quarter of an inch. It is a resting phase where pupa neither feeds nor grows, and this stage lasts for 3 to 6 days, but in winter months it's prolonged. Next is the adult stage. As we know, housefly belongs to the class Insecta. The body is divided into 3, that is head, thorax and abdomen. The adult lifespan is usually 2 to 3 weeks, or it may extend up to 3 months in cooler conditions. Okay. The common adult housefly, that is Musca domestica, is mouse gray in color and measures up to 6 to 9 millimeter in length. The body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. The head part bears a pair of antennae, a pair of large compound eyes, and retractile proboscis, which is adapted for sucking the liquid food. And the eyes of the males are close together and those of the females are set apart widely. The thorax, it is marked with 2 to 4 dark longitudinal strips. It bears a pair of wings and 3 pairs of legs, which is the distinctive feature of class Insecta. Then each leg is provided with a pair of pads which enable the fly to walk on highly polished surface. The legs and the body are covered with numerous short and stiff hairs, which are called as tenant hairs. And then the abdomen, it is segmented and shows light and dark markings. Now coming to the habits of housefly, which will help us for the effective control of houseflies. First one is breeding habit. The housefly usually breeds in fresh horse manure, manure of other animals, human excreta, garbage, decaying fruits and vegetables, rubbish dumps which contain the organic matter and liquid waste. Then the feeding habit. The housefly cannot eat solid food, so it vomits on solid food to make a solution out of it and sucks it in a liquid state. The water is an essential part of the fly's diet, so it can't live more than 48 hours without access to water. Then next habit is restlessness. The fly is a restless insect and it moves back and forth between food and filth. And this habit of the housefly is responsible for mechanical transmission of the various diseases. In the vomit drop, the fly vomits frequently as it cannot eat the solid food. So every 2 to 3 minutes the fly vomits, and the vomit drop is often a culture of disease agents. So again this habit is responsible for transmission of diseases. Then defecation. The housefly defecates every 5 minutes, particularly while feeding, and thus the exposed food contains the countless bacteria. Then resting habit. The housefly rests on vertical surfaces and hanging objects. Then the dispersal. Normally houseflies remain close to their breeding places, but they disperse frequently up to 4 miles and sometimes even more from the point of their origin. Okay. Now we'll see various ways of disease transmission by housefly. So first one is mechanical transmission. As now we know, the houseflies are restless insect and they move back and forth between the food and filth. Okay, and during this movement, they carry the microorganisms from filth to the food through their hairy legs and feet. Okay, and thus transmits the disease. Then second one is vomit drop. The regurgitated stomach contents or vomit drop, which is rich in bacterial culture, and by its habit of frequent vomiting to liquefy the food, the housefly infects the food and thereby transmits the disease. And the third way of disease transmission by housefly is defecation. The excrement of housefly contains numerous microorganisms as well as cysts and ova of the intestinal parasites. Now, which are the diseases transmitted by housefly? So, majority of gastrointestinal tract infections are transmitted by housefly, like typhoid fever and paratyphoid fever, diarrhea, dysentery, cholera, gastroenteritis, amoebiasis, helminthic infestations, poliomyelitis, conjunctivitis, and trachoma. Okay. Now coming to the most important part, that is control measures for housefly. Here we can use environmental control, chemical control, fly papers, self-protection and health education. Okay. Now first one is environmental control. So environmental control, it is the best approach. And here we have to eliminate the breeding places of the housefly. And the breeding places of housefly are human excreta, then manure of animals, decaying fruits and vegetables. So, to eliminate these sources or these breeding places of housefly, we can use garbage bins with lids so as to cut the access of housefly to the garbage. Then we can use incineration methods, composting or sanitary landfill for the sanitary disposal of the refuse. Then use sanitary latrines to prevent the access of houseflies to human excreta. Then disposal of animal excreta, for that we can use composting method. Then most important is health education. The next control measure is chemical control, where we can use various insecticides in that. First one is residual sprays. Residual sprays which have the residual action. For this we can use DDT 5%, 5% methoxychlor or 5.5% linden if the houseflies are susceptible. If houseflies are resistant to these organochlorous compounds, we can use 2% diazinon, 2.5% fenthion or 5% malathion, which are organophosphorus compounds. Okay. Next, these are space sprays. So space sprays are for immediate destruction of flies, mainly in kitchens, canteens and dining rooms before meal times. So the space sprays containing pyrethrin or DDT we can use, but they produce only a temporary effect on adult fly population. Next, we can use larvicides for the housefly, which are 0.5% diazinon, 2% dichlorvos, 2% dimethoate or 1% ronel we can use, and these are applied at the rate of 28 to 56 liters per 100 square meters. Okay. Next, we can use various baits to attract the houseflies, and these baits contain various insecticides like 1 or 2% diazinon, malathion, dichlorvos, ronel and dimethoate. Again, the baits can be solid or liquid. The liquid baits contain 0.1 to 0.2% of the same insecticide and 10% of sugar water to attract the houseflies. Again, propoxur baits are there and imidacloprid baits are also there. Then various cords and ribbons are there. These cords and ribbons are treated with various insecticides, and the strips are hung from the ceilings in the kitchen, dining hall and dairy farms. Usually these are impregnated with diazinon, fenthion or dimethoate. Okay. The next control measure is using various fly papers. These are sticky papers and these are useful adjuncts to other methods of control considering the integrated approach. So these are made by heating together the resin and castor oil until the mixture resembles the molasses. But there is no lasting benefit from the use of fly papers. Then next is protection against flies. So for this, we can screen the houses, hospitals, food markets, restaurants, and all other establishments. Again, we can cover the food to prevent the access of houseflies to the food, so as to prevent the various GI tract infections. Again, one of the most important approach is health education. So a fly consciousness should be created among the people through health education. Some of the other methods of housefly control are using handheld electric swatter, then mechanical fly swatter, fly light trap, and also you can use the electric fly zapper, which are small appliances which are intended for use in fixed location, unlike the handheld electric fly swatter. So these electric fly zapper kills the insects by electrocution from high voltage on an electric grid. Okay, this completes the housefly part. Now we'll continue with the other insects. The next arthropod of medical importance is sandfly. The sandflies, these are small insects measuring up to 1.5 to 2.5 millimeter in length, and these are usually light or dark brown in color. These are also called as Florida, Nauseum or Punky. So in India, about 30 species of sandfly are found, out of which the important ones are Phlebotomus argentipes, Phlebotomus papataci, Phlebotomus sargentini, and Sargentomyia punjabensis. Okay. Now coming to the general characteristics of sandfly. As it is belonging to the class Insecta, body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. The head bears a pair of long, slender and hairy antennae, a pair of palpi and one proboscis. In thorax, it bears a pair of wings, three pairs of legs which are long and slender and are out of proportion to the body, which is characteristic of sandfly. The wings are upright and lanceolate in shape and densely haired. And in abdomen, it has 10 segments which is covered with hair. In female, the tip is rounded, while in case of male, there are claspers which are attached to the last abdominal segment. Okay. As a majority of the general characteristics of sandfly are similar to the mosquitoes, it may be confused with the mosquitoes. So, we'll see what are the differences between the sandfly and mosquito. So, sandflies, these are smaller in size compared to the mosquito. The wings of sandfly, these are upright, lanceolate in shape, and second longitudinal vein branches twice. The legs of the sandfly are longer compared to the size of the body. The sandfly is a hairy insect, while mosquito only antennae part are hairy. Otherwise, abdomen is not covered with any hair. And the sandflies, they hop about and they don't fly. Okay. Now we'll see the habits of sandfly. The sandfly are nocturnal and we can scarcely observe its presence. The bite of the sandfly is very painful, irritating, and it leaves a rash over body. It infests dwellings during night and takes shelter in the holes and the crevices of the walls, trees, storerooms, stables, etc. And just like mosquito, only female sandfly bites, whereas the male sandfly, it feeds over the vegetable juices. As the sandfly don't fly, they just hop about. They are confined to the 50 yards from the breeding places. As you can see in this picture, this is the sandfly rash. Okay. Now, what are the diseases transmitted by sandfly? These are Kala-Azar or visceral leishmaniasis, sandfly fever, or also called as 3-day fever, and oriental sore. These are diseases transmitted by sandfly. Now coming to the control measures of sandfly. The sandfly are easily controlled because they cannot move to long distances because of their hopping habit. So we can use insecticides like DDT, which single application of 1 to 2 gram per square meter is effective for about 1 to 2 years. Then we can use Linden 25 gram per square meter, which is efficient for 3 months. Next is sanitation measure, where uh, removal of shrubs and vegetations within 50 yards of the human dwelling will be helpful. Again, filling up of crevices and cracks on the walls and floors where the sandfly rests. Then you can keep away the human habitation from the cattle sheds and poultry to avoid the contact with the sandfly. The next control measure is avoiding the stinging insects. Here you have to destroy or relocate all the known hives or nests near your home. Then use protective clothing like full sleeves, then hats, socks, etc. Then you can use insect repellents like DEET, which is diethyl toluamide, and again use of insecticide treated nets will be also helpful. Next is treatment of animals. Here, dogs are treated by applying 1% permethrin solution, or again you can use insecticide treated dog collars around the neck of the dog. Okay. The next fly of medical importance is tsetse fly, or also called as glossini. These are blood sucking flies which resembles the common house fly, and these are only found in African continent. These are yellow or dark brown in color and half an inch long. The wings when folded overlap each other like the blades of the scissor, and it has a non-retractile proboscis adapted for piercing the skin and sucking the blood. These are vectors of trypanosomiasis, or also called as sleeping sickness, which affects the man and domestic animals. So we can control this tsetse fly by using insecticides like 25% DDT or 18 to 20% of dieldrin. Clearing the vegetation and genetic control will help to control the tsetse fly. Next is black flies. The black flies, also called as Simulidae, are small robust flies with stout legs, large broad wings, and short proboscis. These are often black in color, so called black flies. In India, the species found is Simulum indicum. Usually they attack the domestic animals and man, and these are blood sucking arthropod. These are the vectors for onchocerciasis in Africa, Mexico, and Central and South America. So to control the black flies, we can use abate, which is added to river water weekly in the doses of 0.05 to 0.1 milligram per liter over a period of 10 minutes. Okay. Now the next arthropod of medical importance is rat flea, which is responsible for transmission of plague. It belongs to the order Siphonaptera. And the various vectors of plague are Xenophila Chiopis, Xenophila astrea and Xenophila brasiliensis. Out of which in India, the oriental rat flea, that is Xenophila Chiopis, is the principal vector of plague. Okay. Now the life cycle of rat flea is again divided into egg, larva, pupa and adult. The morphology of rat flea, these are small, bilaterally compressed with conical head. These are wingless insects and blood sucking ectoparasites. Okay. Coming to the habits of rat flea, these cannot fly, they just hop about and they are able to jump up to 16 centimeter high and hop 30 centimeter forward. Okay. These are transported passively on the person or in the luggage or the movement of goods like grains, gunny bags, etc. They live in cracks and crevices and both females and males of the rat flea can bite. The various diseases transmitted by rat flea are bubonic plague, where Yersinia pestis is the microorganism. Then endemic or murine typhus, where Rickettsia typhi is the microorganism. Then Shigerosis and Hymenolapis diminuta. These are the various diseases transmitted by rat flea. Okay. Now, how the diseases are transmitted by house flea. There are three ways of disease transmission by house flea. First one is biting, the bite of hungry block flea, for example bubonic plague. Then mechanical transmission through proboscis of the fleas which had recently fed on the infected rodent. Then the feces. The rat flea has habit of continuous defecation. So whenever the person scratches the bite site, it helps in direct inoculation of the fecal drop, which is a rich culture of bacteria or bacilli, and thus causing the endemic typhus. Okay. Now what is this blocked flea? Usually the bubonic plague is transmitted by the infected flea called as blocked flea. Okay, there can be a question on this blocked flea. So some fleas, they ingest the plague bacilli while while biting and becomes the blocked due to the multiplication of plague bacilli in the proventriculus or stomach. Thus, the blockage of the means while biting they ingest the plague bacilli and get blocked due to the multiplication of plague bacilli. The proventriculus, which is the food passage of the rat flea, if it is blocked, it renders the flea unable to obtain the further blood feed. Okay, it enables the flea to feed further. So it becomes hungry, and this hungry flea bites more ferociously. Okay, and while biting, instead of sucking the blood, it injects the plague bacilli into the wound with each bite. Thus, it helps in transmission of the disease by biting. So, there are two types of blocked fleas again, completely blocked flea and partially blocked flea. So, the partially blocked flea is more efficient in transmission of plague compared to the blocked flea. Okay, there can be a question on blocked flea. So, remember, while biting, the flea ingests the plague bacilli and these plague bacilli multiply in the proventriculus of the flea. Thus the flea becomes blocked. Means the food passage of the flea becomes blocked. Because of this, the flea is unable to feed and it becomes hungry and bites more ferociously. And while during each bite, it injects the plague bacilli into the wound instead of sucking the blood, and thus transmits the bacilli. Okay. The flea indices are used as an indicator of potential explosiveness of the situation to predict where a plague epidemic can occur in an endemic area. So various flea indices are general flea index, which is the average number of fleas of all species per rodent. The next one is specific flea index, which is average number of fleas of each species per rodent. Then percentage of incidence of flea species, which is percentage of fleas of each species found per rodent. Then rodent infestation rate, which is percentage of rodents infested with fleas. Okay. Now the control measures for rat flea. So to control the rat flea, we can use insecticides, then rodent control and using personal protection. So the insecticides are dusted in the areas which are frequented by fleas such as rodent burrows and rat runs. Here the insecticide dust is applied in a patch of 20 to 25 centimeter wide and 0.5 centimeter thick. For this, the insecticides used are 10% DDT dust. If the fleas are resistant to DDT dust, we can use 2% carbaryl or diazinon and 5% malathion or 1% propoxur also can be used at the dosage of 2 to 3 gram per meter square. Then the rodent control, if flea index, just we saw, the flea index, if it exceeds 1 in plague susceptible areas, we have to control the rodents. But in case of epidemic or during an outbreak, no rodent control activity is undertaken. Okay. Again, if plague case is detected, so in that case, immediate insecticidal treatment of the patient's dwelling and of the other dwellings within the 200-meter of that plague case is recommended. Then again, we can use personal protections like protective clothing, long trousers, socks and shoes, and we can use repellents, for example diethyl toluamide on clothing and benzyl benzoate. Okay. Next arthropod is louse. So these are ectoparasites. These are small, wingless, and they occur in all parts of the world where standards of hygiene are low. But usually the peoples in colder climates are more frequently affected. The infestation by lice, it is called as pediculosis. There are three kinds of lice which infest the man. These are head louse, that is Pediculus humanus capitis, then body louse, that is Pediculus humanus carpodis, and pubic or crab louse, which is Therius pubis. Okay. The life cycle of louse, it has three stages: egg, larva and adult. The larva, there are three stages of larva: first stage larva, second stage and third stage larva, and adult. Among these, only the larva and adult, they suck the blood. Okay. Now first stage of life cycle of louse is louse egg, also called as nit, which are laid singly or in groups. So these are firmly attached to the hair, as you can see in this picture. This is hair and these are firmly attached to the hair with cementing material or seams of clothing. The eggs, these are small, white in color or gray or black in color. These are pointed at one end and truncated and pitted at the other end. Okay. Next is larval stage, which also sucks the blood. Then adult. In larva, three stages are there: first, second, and third stage larva. Then adult. The adult lies, it lives for 30 to 50 days. Okay, and the adult may not survive without blood for more than 2 days. So it requires the blood for its survival. And the entire life cycle takes about 15 to 70 days under favorable conditions. This is the life cycle of head lice. Now the head and body of the lice. These are almost similar in structure except that the head lice are smaller. Okay, head lice is smaller than the body lice. The body of the louse, it is flattened dorsoventrally, and these are wingless ectoparasites. The body of the louse is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. The head is pointed in front. It bears a jointed antennae, a pair of jointed antennae. The mouth parts are adapted for sucking the blood. In thorax, it is fused mass and is square shaped. There are three pairs of legs attached ventrally to it, and the legs are provided with claws to attach to the skin. Then the abdomen is elongated and consists of 9 segments. And the last abdominal segment is pointed in case of males and bilobed in case of females. Just as you can see here, it is pointed in case of male and bilobed in case of female. Okay. Now the crab louse, it can be differentiated from the head and body louse by its small size and square body. The head is impacted on the thorax, and these are relatively enormous and powerful legs and claws. It is extremely inactive and does not move very much from the site of its birth. Okay. As you can see, these are the body and head louse and crab louse. Crab louse is usually square shaped body is there. Okay. Now the dissemination of louse. So these are disseminated by direct contact. For example, during overcrowding and in schools, these are transported directly from man to man. Then through indirect contact, through clothing or bedding, hats, or sharing combs and brushes, or by wind puffs, the louse is disseminated. The various diseases transmitted by louse, these are trench fever, where the microorganism is Bartonella quintana, then relapsing fever, where the microorganism is Borrelia recurrentis, epidemic typhus, and pediculosis. Okay. Now, how to control the louse? So, for louse control, there are two methods. First one is insecticidal control, and second one is personal hygiene. In insecticidal control for head and crab louse, we can use lotion or various shampoos containing permethrin 1% and 0.5% of malathion, which is left for 12 to 24 hours before washing. Okay. Next, you can use ivermectin tabs. A single dose of 200 microgram per kg body weight is sufficient. Only single dose is required. Again, you can use carbaryl dust, which is used for mass treatment against body louse, and the dust is applied through neck openings, then up sleeves, and from all the sides of the loosened waist of the trousers. Here for body louse, 1% malathion dust is used for clothing, socks and body, and the mass delousing, that is mass treatment, is done using hand operated dusters. at the rate of 50 gram powder per person. Okay. Next is maintaining the personal hygiene, where take daily bath with soap. Then women should wash and clean the hairs frequently, and they should use various lice combs. Then clothing, towels and sheets should be washed in hot water and should be ironed. Then autoclaving of clothes and bedding for body loss control. Okay. Next one is bed bug, which is a blood sucking insect, and the habitat of bed bug is warm houses, especially near or inside the beds and bedding or other sleep areas. These are mainly active at night and prefer the exposed skin, preferably face, neck and arms of a sleeping person, and it causes skin rash, psychological effect and allergic symptoms. Now the ticks, which belong to the class Arachnida. Here two types of ticks are there: soft tick, that is Ergasidae, and hard tick, Ixotridae. Okay. Coming to the morphology of ticks, as they belong to the class Arachnida, only two body divisions are there: cephalothorax and abdomen. Then it bears four pairs of legs, which is characteristic of class Arachnida. Then no antennae and eyes may or may not be present. In case of hard tick, the dorsal surface is having one shield called as scutum, and in soft tick, the body is oval with leathery cuticle and devoid of scutum, so called as soft tick. The life cycle has four stages: egg, larva, nymph and adult. And the tick attaches itself to the body by its mouth part. Okay, and transmit the disease by biting. So which are the diseases transmitted by ticks? So hard tick is responsible for transmission of tick typhus, viral encephalitis, viral fever, viral hemorrhagic fevers, tularemia, tick paralysis and human babesiosis. While soft tick is responsible for transmission of Q fever, relapsing fever and KFD, that is Cassiner forest disease. Okay. Now how to control the ticks? For this, insecticidal control and personal protection. So in insecticidal control, we can treat the area where you can clear the bushes by cutting them and spray 5% malathion solution over the cut bushes. Then treatment of premises. So for soft tick, apply insecticides to floors and walls of the infested premises on alternate day. Okay, for soft tick, insecticides are applied to the floors and walls. And then apply the insecticides again to the beds, mattresses, rugs and furnitures. For this you can use organophosphorus compounds like malathion or carbamate compounds like propoxur or in the dose of 5 to 10% dose. Then treatment of domestic animals, where dogs and other domestic animals should be washed or sprayed with 2% malathion and 1% propoxur. Then next control measure is use personal protection like protective clothing and repellent like diethyl phenylacetamide, that is DEPA, and DEET, which is applied to clothing, which will be effective for controlling the tick bite. Next is each mite, that is Sarcoptes scabi or also called as Acarus scabi. Okay. Again, this belongs to the class Arachnida. It has four pairs of legs. It is tortoise-like, and there is no distinction between cephalothorax and abdomen. the 4 pairs, out of which the 2 pairs of legs are in front, which end in suckers, while the remaining 2 pairs of legs behind, they end in long bristles. This is the life cycle of each mite, where the adult female lays eggs, the eggs which hatch to larva, then larva gets converted to nymph stage and nymph is converted to adult female, and this life cycle is completed in skin layer, that is stratum corneum. Okay. The mode of spread of each mite is through close contact or household infection or using contaminated clothes. Then the site of lesion, usually these are the infestation occurs in the deeper layers of the skin, like webs of fingers, wrist, extensor aspect of the elbow, axillae, buttocks, lower abdomen, feet and ankles, and palms in case of infants. Again, in case of infants, scalp is also affected. Then how to diagnose the each mite infestation? So clinically, there occurs papules, vesicles or tiny linear burrows containing mites and their eggs. Usually the itching is worse at night. Then various follicular lesions are there. Then secondary infection may occur due to itching, and also the other members of the family or in the school also other members are affected, and the parasites can be detected in skin debris under the microscope. Next one, to control the each mite, you have to treat all the members of the affected household and not only the patient. Okay, so simultaneously give treatment to all the members. Then before giving treatment, the patient is given a good scrub with soap and hot water. Then use benzyl benzoate 25%, which is applied with a brush below the chin, and it should be repeated after 12 hours and washed after 12 hours. But remember, not more than 2 applications per week should be used. Then clothes and beddings should be changed regularly. Then again you can use the SCH 0.5 to 1% in coconut oil or any other oil you can use. That is HCH is hexachlorohexane. Then again you can use Tetmosol 5%. The daily 3 applications of Tetmosol are used, and again you can use sulfur ointment 2.5 to 10% daily for 4 days, but most commonly used is benzyl benzoate. Okay. Now next arthropod of medical importance is cyclop, or also called as water flea, as it is found in water. It belongs to the class Crustaceae. Okay. This is the only member from class Crustaceae we are going to study. The cyclops, these are found in most collections of the fresh water, so also called as water flea. So these are less than 1 millimeter in length, but these are just visible to the trained eyes. These are pear-shaped, semi-transparent body, a forked tail. It has 2 pairs of antennae, 5 pairs of legs, and a small pigmented eye. Okay. The public health importance of cyclop is that it is a intermediate host of dracunculiasis or guinea worm disease, which has been eradicated from India since 2000. Okay. Again, it is one of the intermediate host of fish tapeworm, that is Diphyllobothrium latum infestation. Okay. This is the life cycle of guinea worm disease. Then the control measures for cyclops here: physical control, chemical control, biological control, then abolishing the step wells and provision of piped water. In physical control, as cyclops are found in water, we can strain the water using muslin cloth or domestic nylon strainer. Then again, we can boil the water to get rid of the water fleas. Then in chemical control, the superchlorination will help us to destroy the water fleas, like chlorine with residual chlorine of 5 parts per million. Then you can use lime at the rate of 4 gram per gallon of water. Then abate, 1 milligram per liter of abate can be used in drinking water also. Then for biological control, barbel fish or gambusia fish, which are the larvivorous fish, we can use. Then you have to abolish the step wells to avoid the contamination of water and provision of piped water supply. Okay. The next is hookworm. In that there are two types: Ankylostoma duodenale and Necator americanus. The hookworms, they causes chronic blood loss and depletion of body's iron stores, leading to iron deficiency anemia. The chronic blood loss is due to the uh, property of this hookworm, as it attaches to the intestinal mucosa with the help of its hook, and it causes injury at the mucosal site, and again it moves from that injured site to another site, leaving behind the previous site bleeding. So thus it causes multiple injuries in the intestinal mucosa and causes chronic blood loss, leading to iron deficiency anemia. Okay. So for hookworm, Chandler's index is used, which is the average number of hookworm eggs per gram of feces for the entire community. Okay, this is the average number of hookworm eggs per gram of feces for the entire community. If the average number of eggs are below 200, the hookworm infection is of not much significance. Okay. And if the hookworm eggs, average number of hookworm eggs per gram of feces are 200 to 250, it is potential danger. If it is 250 to 300, it is a minor public health problem, and if the average number of hookworm eggs per gram of feces are above 300, it is a major public health problem. Okay. So how to control this hookworm? So first one is sanitation, that is hand hygiene. Then chemotherapy, in that you can use albendazole 400 milligram single dose or mebendazole 100 milligram BD for 3 days. These are the antihelminths we can use. Then treatment of anemia by using ferrous sulfate 200 milligram TDS we can give, and it should be continued for 3 months after the hemoglobin is attained up to 12 gram percent. Then giving health education. Okay. Remember, we have seen only the vectors of the arthropod borne diseases, okay, and not the causative organisms of the arthropod borne diseases. So, for further reading, you have to read vectors, then diseases transmitted by these vectors, and for these diseases, which are the causative organisms and the reservoir of that disease. Okay. So this is all about medical entomology. We have covered in 2 lectures. The various entomology questions are like define medical entomology, Enumerate arthropods of medical importance along with the diseases transmitted by them. Then you can be having one question like write about general principles of arthropod control. Write a note on integrated vector management. Enumerate various diseases transmitted by mosquitoes and write about various mosquito control measures. Write a note on habits of mosquitoes. Enumerate diseases transmitted by houseflies. Then write about various housefly control measures. Write a note on habits of housefly. Write a note on blocked flea. Write a note on insecticide resistance among arthropods. And in practical you will be having spots. In that you have to identify with reason and answer the other sub questions. The other sub question can be diseases transmitted by that arthropod or various control measures or the public health importance, okay, or habits of that arthropod. So many questions can be there, but first question will be always identify with reason. You have to identify that arthropod, okay. So here I am sharing some of the entomology slides, which are the microscope slide images that you have to identify with reason. Okay, and the answer key for this I'll be sharing with you on WhatsApp. Okay, so try to identify it along with the reason. So these are the some of the slides. These are the slides which are kept in exam for spot. And some of the models are there from museum. Again you have to identify these models with reason, okay. So thank you.